2 months into Donald Trump's second term and the foundations of America's financial system are looking extremely weak, guys. Trump once again is attacking the Federal Reserve and has even made it clear that he wants to fire the head of it, who is Jerome Powell. He even called Jerome Powell a loser. So at the same time, he's also starting trade fights with many countries around the world. And this obviously has shaken confidence in the key things that usually support the United States economy, which are, for example, the dollar. So if we look at the dollar index itself, we can obviously see the dollar has been pushing down lower and lower. And also if we look at bond prices in the United States, and then more specifically at, for example, the long-term yields, which have an inverse relationship with bond prices, we can see that yields are already up around 15% in just the last 3 weeks. So normally these things that are seen as safe havens during uncertain times, bonds or United States bonds and the dollar index itself, are now being showcased as very bad and weak investments. And not long ago, people were betting on what was called the Trump trade, right? Where we saw the dollar index fly to the absolute moon just before Trump became president, which was pretty much a rise or an increase of around 10%. But now it's starting to look like the opposite, where everybody is taking their money out of the dollar. We're seeing again the stock market also crash in towards the downside. If we look here at US 30, you can again see that overall downside continuation from that weekly area of supply as well. So it's not looking good for the dollar as of yet, but now let's just dive into EURUSD. My name is Fabio and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. So looking here at the weekly time frame on EURUSD, we can again see a massive impulse in towards the highs. EURUSD is around up 12% in just the last month or 2 months. And if we look at where the market is currently trading, I was expecting somewhat of a retracement very soon, but we can see here that after coming pretty much above the overall range high, so I consider this an area of consolidation. Here we liquidated the range low, here we liquidated the range high. I was expecting somewhat of a retracement. We did see some slowdown last week with this inside bar candlestick, and this also is now our fractal high or our fractal low, excuse me. This here of this candle, you can see the current fractal low. We're currently building actually this indicator, which is going to be released in the near future. For now, it is only private, so you're not going to be able to find it. But what we can see here is that this is a current fractal low. And once that fractal low breaks, that is the moment then when I'm going to be expecting somewhat of a deeper pullback. But overall, we don't really have any clear weekly areas of supply. Looking here at the monthly time frame, we also actually don't really have a lot there. But what we do have is this monthly imbalance candle, which is fresh and which could cause us to see somewhat of a retracement in the near future. I am expecting somewhat of a retracement in the near future. So let's see if this monthly imbalance candle over here can push the market down lower. If this area of supply fails to do that, guys, then I am afraid that we are definitely going to see around that 1.24, because these two equal highs are then likely to get taken out. These two imbalance candles are not fresh anymore, so this I don't really expect it to push the market down lower. So it's either going to be this purple zone, or if we do break through it, then I'll be looking for some more longs into around 1.24. But that is obviously like the longer term outlook. Looking here at the daily, what we can see here is that the daily is still extremely bullish, guys. There is nothing really showing any slowdown. Yes, we're inside the monthly area of supply, but for now, if you are looking for shorts, you need to break the daily fractal low. So the current fractal low is the low of this bullish candle over here. If that were to break, then maybe I'll be looking for a deeper correction, as this overall area of demand is still unmitigated, meaning it is still fresh and untouched. So looking for an overall retracement in towards here in the near future if we do break that current fractal low, which we have over here. Until then, longs are currently the only option, and I would not be looking for any shorts at all. So that's what I'm looking for on EURUSD. Longs are for now the only thing that I'm personally interested in. Keep an eye open for that. Market is currently consolidating, looking for some more manipulation, for some more lows to get swiped before looking to get into any potential trades. We also have obviously gotten the equal lows over here, which I would preferably want to see get taken out before looking for any longs at all. And EURUSD is overall still very fundamentally driven by what the dollar index is going to be doing. But overall, momentum is in towards the upside. Would like to see some more manipulation before getting involved. Looking here at the dollar index overall analysis, which we made already for a few weeks. I've been talking about this. If you follow the videos for a longer time, you can very clearly see the accumulation, the manipulation, and then the distribution in towards the downside. Now, the dollar is obviously still very bearish. Overall, I was expecting actually somewhat of a reaction to this liquidity low, this one over here, seeing somewhat of a retracement, but it seems like nothing really is able to slow down the dollar. So actually just really waiting for overall the fundamentals to start playing a part, looking if there is any sign of potential slowdown or any potential trade deals going to be closed. For now, the only area of price that can cause that potential pullback is obviously the current fractal high to break. So what I'm now waiting for is this current fractal high to break, and if that breaks, which is the high of that bullish candle, then I'll be looking for a pullback trade, because again, we have left this area of open supply behind. So I would like to see somewhat of a pullback in the near future. But yeah, for myself, no rush. I'll just be waiting for the current fractal high to get broken and then only look for longs. Otherwise, until then, just continuously look for shorts. That for me is also the main focus, focusing on the daily fractal structure, as that is for now the strongest form of fractal structure, together obviously with the weekly as well. So if we break that weekly fractal high, that for me would be confirmation that this is more just like a fake out, and we could see some aggressive buying up again. The dollar index is the most oversold, I think, since COVID times. We haven't seen such an oversold dollar in a very, very long time. So keep your eyes open for that. Back then, this impulse in towards the highs was after COVID, or in kind of like the COVID rebound phase. But definitely looking at previously Trump's presidency, we can also see again a very, very weak dollar over here, with around a drop pretty much from the overall manipulation high all the way to the low of around 15%. And we are currently here sitting at where? At around 11%. So there's still some room for the dollar index to fall to around 94 or 93 if we look at the previous impulse in towards the downside of Trump's presidency. So just continuously follow the overall fractal structure, guys. Look at the daily and just follow that. For now, this is in control, so it doesn't make sense to look for any longs on the dollar for now. Going into Australian dollar against the US dollar, AUDUSD took out the overall highs that we had over here. So these descending highs, that was something that I was looking for. Now with those highs taken, we could start looking for a potential pullback trade. But overall, the dollar obviously still so weak, it doesn't make any sense yet. So just continuously look for longs is my personal opinion on Australian dollar against the US dollar. There's nothing really slowing it down as of yet, so focus mainly on just following the 4-hour fractal structure or the 4-hour swing structure. For now, the fractal structure is getting a little bit messy. We can see somewhat of a slowdown that we had over here. Now again, we're just consolidating over here. So let's wait and see if we can get somewhat of a nicer retracement. I'm going to be looking for some manipulation, maybe some low swipes before getting into any longs, just because of the overall overextended nature. For me, some stops need to get hit before fueling any legs up higher again. So I'll be waiting for that manipulation to take place. And for me, the manipulation is perfectly in line with the overall kind of like a high takeout of these equal highs. If we look to the left, there's no supply at all to push the market down lower. That's why I'm more looking at just continuation up higher. And that's why I'm looking at manipulation first in towards the downside, and then just continuation in towards the highs, as there's no real area of supply to really cause the market give us a full-blown reversal in towards the downside. But overall, not very clean price action, as you guys can also see. Now looking here at GU kind of like filled the entire void back in towards the highs. Very interesting to see the overall impulse in towards the downside, the overall correction back in towards the upside. This entire kind of like a V-shaped Dorito chip has now been filled back up. And overall for GU, we're still only actually interested in longs as long as the daily fractal structure holds. So for now, this pretty much is like the imbalance that is in control. You can see here the current fractal low is still respected. Yes, we are inside weekly supply, and that weekly supply zone could cause the market to push down lower. But for now, there is absolutely no sign of a slowdown. So I'm not just randomly going to start selling inside of that supply zone. I'll just be looking for a, let's say, potential short-term correction if we break the current fractal low, and then once we kind of like retrace in towards this demand, we could look for some more longs again, as you'll also then be inside that daily imbalance that we have over here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on GU. Overall, maybe some short-term shorts if we do break the 4-hour fractal low, which is this low over here. Then I'll maybe looking at some short-term shorts. Going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU is very similar to AU. Overall, a very heavily overextended leg. For now, again, very similar to AU. No real areas of supply here to its left. So I'm personally just looking still for that further upside continuation. For me, there's nothing really able to cause a reversal on it. Overall, what I'll be looking for are more longs as soon as we get into the purple zone. but now we're outside of the purple zone. So it makes sense to look for a pullback trade, as this is pretty much just a break of structure. What do you expect after break of structure? You expect a pullback, but obviously with the momentum being so high against the dollar, so bearish dollar, it makes sense to continuously look for NZDUSD longs. Overall, this is here your area of demand, the sell before the buy. So if we tap into that, you could look for some more long positions. So yeah, just wait for again this low to get swiped and then look for some more longs. So that's what I'll look for NZDUSD. Going into UJ and Gold, UJ is still pushing down lower. As we can see, the daily fractal structure remains bearish. I was looking for this high to get taken out and then look for longs. As we can see, it didn't happen. Now this is the current fractal high. So this is now again your supply zone that is in control. So yeah, further downside for UJ is now the only thing that still makes sense. Where again, we are at a very, very strong low or strong area of support of that region of around 140. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see somewhat of a bounce, but we will need to see the daily structure change. And therefore, we would need to see this current fractal high break, and then we could look for potential longs. Going into gold, last fall, gold is still pushing up higher and higher. We can see that it is again today an absolute rocket ship with all the uncertainty within the world. So yeah, I mean, I don't really want to be trading this, but again, what you want to be looking for is price action like this, where we manipulate internal lows. Okay, so keep an eye out for that manipulation phase. Again, here you had all of these ascending lows. The ascending lows get taken out, and then the V-shape reversal back in towards the highs. Now, where do we have those ascending lows? Once again, we have them, for example, over here. So wait for those lows maybe to get taken out before looking for any potential further upside once again. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Some interesting price action overall. Again, not the cleanest of markets, very fundamentally driven, but I hope you guys have been informed with this update. Today we are also going live on YouTube at 2:30, so make sure to be there and have an amazing day.